The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College.
This is Duck Insider.
Give it to Verdell. He's got the first down and gone. Duck fans start celebrating. Oregon is the 2019 Pac-12 champion. 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Richardson, another open three. Good. Duarte dribbles and slams with the right hand. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions. Outright champs.
Foley three. Good. Foley ball. Back out Shelley. Three ball. Good. Regular season champions and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Hey, it's Monday. No, it's not. It's Tuesday. Don't you love 3-day weekends? Because it's Tuesday, and you get on the air, and you're like, wow, it's only a 4-day week. 3-day weekends are great. I hope everybody had a great 3-day weekend and an enjoyable Labor Day. Ended in the Eugene-Springfield area and really all throughout the Willamette Valley with a really an odd feeling, didn't it? Odd feeling because smoke just came in a hurry. And I really do mean in a hurry. The smoke really moved in fast. There's a lot of information. We're live on the air in the 1 o'clock hour. And because the show airs at different times, I think that it's important for us to just tell you to check your local government agency websites for the latest updates. Because frankly, I mean, look, we don't know everything that's going to happen and everything that's going to change on a moment's notice. In fact, as I'm sitting here talking to you all, I'm wondering, like, man, did anything change in the last while? Because that's the way that everything has been moving. I really do want to say though, my thoughts are with everybody that's affected by these fires, particularly along the Mackenzie River corridor. That fire moved very fast overnight, and I live out that direction actually. So as you can imagine, my mind's a little bit preoccupied today. And I think it might be that way for the next few days, at least. So I'm thinking about all of the fire crews that are out working their tails off to get a handle on all these fires around the state of Oregon with some record temperatures, and that windstorm was no joke, everybody. That windstorm was no joke. So I hope that everybody is doing okay as we move through all of these difficult times. So check your local government agencies, and if you get one of those evacuation warnings, take off. I know that's tough, that's difficult, but there's a reason that those warnings come out. Meanwhile, today on the show, as we'll talk a little bit about that and everything that's going on, also some good news for a future Pro Duck and some not so great news for Oregon fans that wanted to see him in a Duck uniform again. Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell is heading to the next level. He was a great Duck. Once a Duck, always a Duck, as they say. Thank you to Penei Sewell. He was something else. 2019 conference champ. He won the Outland Trophy in 2019, a Rose Bowl champion as well. That number 58 is going to be remembered for a lot of things around Oregon. Posted a really awesome thank you and a letter to fans, the JACO academic staff, the medical staff, coaches. He mentioned Coach Cristobal as a mentor, coach, teacher, friend, and father figure. Told him thank you for everything, and that's awesome. Also talked to his teammates and the fans, best fans in the nation, he called them, with his hashtag SewellStrong. The unfortunate thing is we're not going to get to see Penei play with his brother. And that's just another result, unfortunately, of this pandemic that we are facing. I do want to read one part in particular of what Penei Sewell said. And remember, you can follow Penei Sewell on Twitter if you missed it. He said, "Inspired by a lifelong dream, I have been supported by the best family ever. Humble and grateful for his hand and all things. I have reached that point in my life where I am on the verge of realizing my dreams." That's well put by Penei Sewell. And it really, I read it yesterday and I was thinking, man, it would have been great to see him in a Duck uniform again, but at Same time, it's time for the next level. I think everybody supports that. Certainly we at Oregon do. We got a few highlights of Penei Sewell's career for you.
This is their opportunity. Let's go deep. Let's go deep. I'm talking about opportunity. We here.
He just bulldozed people. I mean, it was crazy.
He's the best he's ever coached. He very well has the chance to be. That guy's coached a lot of pros.
I mean, Penei Sewell would just make everybody look silly. And right after he'd make one person look silly, he'd make somebody else look silly. Started as a freshman. And I think we all remember starting as a freshman, he was on an offensive line that had been together for 3-4 years as starters. That redshirt freshman group with Jake Hansen, Calvin Throckmorton, Shane Lemieux, Brady Aiello, all those guys that were on that line together. That just shows you how good Penei Sewell was when he first came in, that he was the starting left tackle among that group. And he just was so powerful. Just made people look bad.
Hits it hard.
And that's a 350-pound clean guy that weighs 330 that's got feet like a tight end, and it's just damage.
How about feet like a tight end for a left tackle? You know, though, I will say, Penei might agree, he was the front bulldozer on a lot of touchdown runs. But you know the one thing that Brady Aiello still has on him? Brady Aiello caught a touchdown. Now, Penei Sewell probably doesn't mind too much.
First name Penei, last name Sewell, and I love to play football.
That's true. Penei Sewell, thank you to Penei Sewell for everything that you did. Once a Duck, always a Duck. Here's to hoping that we're seeing him in the top 5, 3, 1 picks. I think that that's a fair possibility for Penei Sewell. Some of the best highlights of Penei Sewell's career, that was a lot of fun to reminisce and think about. And boy, what a player he is, and he is going to continue to be really, really good. I think we all know that the Penei for Heisman campaign would have been awesome this year. We would have had a great time with Penei for Heisman. And you know what? We still kind of can. You know, we can still say here at Oregon, well, he would have won it. We all know it. He would have won it. And, man, I'm going to miss Penei Sewell. But I think the right decision to move on to the next level. And really, if you're Penei Sewell, let's think about this for a second. You get to play on Sundays. That's realizing the dream. The best left tackle that I've seen play in person. And, you know, that's one of the cool things with what I do on our football broadcast, right? Because I'm on the sideline, so I don't see the bird's eye view like Jerry and Jorgie do. So instead, I'm looking at the trenches a lot of the time. You know, I'm actually looking like right for the ball, and there are times where I'll be honest, like, guy goes into a pile, I look at the pile, and then, oh, look, he's in the end zone. Like, that's happened to me before. But seeing Penei Sewell from that perspective, and I'm fortunate to have done that now, boy, he's fun to watch. So Penei Sewell, we wish you the best from all the Ducks out there. Looking forward to seeing you wreck some people and then a few other people on Sundays, because he's a great, great left tackle. The Outland Trophy winner, the best offensive lineman in the country, maybe the best player in the country. We wish you the best, Penei. Wish you the absolute best. Otis Davis marked the 60th anniversary of his becoming Oregon track and field's first Olympic gold medalist on Sunday. Really cool weekend. And he spent the morning of a 3-day visit on Friday at Hayward Field. Looked up, saw the likeness of himself on the Bowerman Tower at the new Hayward Field, and that had to just be a thrill for him. Davis became the first Olympic gold medalist for the Ducks, and now the Ducks have 8 of them. Davis became the first, winning the 400 meters in Rome on September 6, 1960. Davis is also one of the 5 icons. Remember, there's only 5 people that are up on that tower. Bill Bowerman, Ashton Eaton, Steve Prefontaine, Raven Rogers, Otis Davis. Elite company. And he came into Eugene late on Thursday, and he got a chance to look at that new facility on Friday morning. And it was funny. Rob Mosley wrote a great piece on GoDucks.com. I encourage you to check it out for reading a little more detail on Otis Davis. I want to read your quote. I want to read this quote for you because I thought that it was really fitting. Because Otis Davis said, quote, "Who is that handsome guy?" I didn't know I looked that good. I'm just glad they thought of me in that way to put me up there. It seems like they all recognize me now, and they sure do. That was really cool, Otis Davis, seeing Hayward Field. He also spoke to the entire Oregon athletics community in an afternoon Zoom session on Friday, which was really, really awesome. So Otis Davis, to a legend, sir. That was awesome to see at Hayward Field this weekend. More available on GoDucks.com. GoDucks.com will have you covered for really all things, but Rob wrote a great piece that I encourage you to check out. Got some other Products news for you, but first we're going to get a quick timeout because, well, the star of the show has connected, ladies and gentlemen. Manny Martins is joining us virtually here inside the Country Financial Studio. We're going to chat with him coming up, talk all things Ducks. It's a little smoky out Manny's window. We'll probably have to talk about that too because right when you thought you had a plan for workouts, it probably got thrown out the window overnight. We're going to talk to Manny about that coming up in just a little while. The Associate Head Coach of Oregon Soccer is our guest. Stick with us. A lot more still to come. It's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Back inside the Country Financial Studio after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Hundo P. Hundo P. Adjective. Short for being 100% sure or certain. As in, if we get a puppy, I'll Hundo P always walk it.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Now, normally sitting here in the chair to my left, it would be Manny Martins. It's a super long walk from Manny's office to the studio. And by super long, I mean like if Manny took long strides, he could probably make it door to door in like 4 steps. But we're trying our best to adhere to social distancing, keeping everybody safe inside the athletic department. And Manny, I was talking before the break, as we talked with the associate head coach of Oregon Soccer, I mean, it seems like once you guys had a idea of what workouts were going to look like, then Mother Nature threw you a curveball today. So let's start with the obvious and the smoke in the valley. How the heck do you handle this one now, Coach?
Well, one of the good things about 2020 has been a year of curveballs, right? So our players are pretty adaptable at this point, and as the staff, we we've learned to be flexible as well. So we were actually, just before logging in, we were actually looking at our schedule and figuring out some adjustments for the rest of the week, and anticipating the chances of not being able to train tomorrow.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but it's not surprising. I woke up this morning and thought that I was around a campfire for 3 days. So to everybody who's out there fighting this blaze, we're thinking about you, and everybody that's affected by it. I know Thurston High School has become a sort of, really, the evacuation center is sort of a salvage ground for a lot of people, so we're thinking about you. Let's do our best to talk a little bit about you, though, Manny. I haven't had you on the show, and so you've heard me do this. You know that this is a thing. I'm sure that you prepped for it. I've got my stopwatch ready. The 2-minute life story of Oregon Soccer Associate Head Coach Manny Martins. Sir, the floor is yours.
Well, 2-minute life story. Let's see. Originally from Portugal. I was born and raised in Lisbon. That's where I discovered the game of soccer, playing in the streets with my friends. Bit of a long story, but started, living on my own when I was 15. And then eventually at the age of 17, came to the U.S. At 15, I dropped out of high school. So came to the U.S. to finish high school. Plan was to come for just 2 years and then go back home. And literally a month before graduating high school, I met someone who's now my wife 20 years later. And, and the plan changed. So ended up sticking around, played a little bit of junior college soccer in Southern California. 20 years in Los Angeles meant I started my coaching career out there, coached at my alma mater in summer high school, then went on to coach at junior college while concurrently doing some club soccer, running one of the bigger clubs down in Southern California. After that, started working part-time at Starbucks. As a fun fact, had a stint of a little over 6 months working directly for Stevie B. He was a music artist in the 80s.
Okay.
This was a time where I thought maybe I wanted to pursue something in show business. I was doing some commercials, but then refocused. End up coaching at Cal Poly Pomona, Division II school. Had an opportunity to come back as a head coach to the junior college at Mission College, where I coached the women. Then I moved over to the man, was there for another 3 years, and then had the opportunity to coach at UCLA. Went to UCLA for 3 years, and where I really developed some relationships with certain mentors and people that have become a big part of my life, not just as my career, but my personal life as well, friends and mentors. After UCLA, took a year off of the college game, started working with U.S. Soccer. So end up working 2 cycles of the under-17s World Cup, a cycle of the under-20s, and then this last cycle of the full women's national team World Cup. I actually met Graham when I first started working with U.S. Soccer. After that, I had the opportunity to come to Oregon, took a visit out here with my wife and my youngest, fell in love with Eugene, and that was a little over 6 years later, here I am with Joey Mack.
I love it. That was great. That was perfect. As you can imagine, I have multiple follow-ups. This is what happens, and I also have to tell everybody that Manny is – he's got some very interesting stories that I want to tell some of, Coach. But also I have to ask a very serious question before we go any further. Does anybody call you Emmanuel anymore?
My mother.
That's it?
When she's upset with me, it's the full name, and it's a long name. It's Manuel Moisés Lopes da Silva Martins.
Yeah, okay.
I know she's upset with me when she goes through that trouble.
I get it. I understand. I don't get called Joseph unless it's bad.
Yeah.
So I identify with it. So anybody like me that has the quote unquote nickname, I always have to ask. Coach, man, you've had so many interesting, I feel like, different paths in your life, and soccer seems to always sort of be what has recentered you. Is that accurate? And maybe part 2 of that question is, where did that love from soccer come from? You talked about being introduced to it as a kid. is that kind of where it comes from? You still kind of feel like a kid a little bit when you're around soccer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say soccer's been a part of who I am actually in many ways since I can remember myself. As a 5-year-old in the streets in Lisbon, using my imagination, whether I was playing with my friends or by myself, and using my imagination as if I was playing with other people. I mean, it was always something that didn't fail me. And I did come from from a family of very limited means, so I didn't have a lot of toys or things like that. So soccer was an easy one. You get outside with the ball, everything else just happens on its own.
That's true. I was that way with a lot of different sports, and I can definitely identify with that. I have to ask a little bit. So showbiz, you're in showbiz with us right now. You said you did some commercials. I gotta ask, did you do any that people would know, and do you have any fun stories from that aspect?
Well, I don't know if I have great fun. Well, I did a few. One of the ones that I don't know that anyone would know, but it was before World Cup. It was for American Airlines.
Okay.
And I was kind of took some pride in saying that I actually got the part that it was meant to be for Kobe Jones, who at the time was a big star for the LA Galaxy and the U.S. national team.
Okay.
But what the role was, you had to sit down in the airplane seat and you had to juggle while sitting down, pop the ball up to your knee, then pop it to your head and head it. And he couldn't do it.
Oh.
And I could. So I got the part because of that. But it was an incredible experience, and it's, I got to be in a hotel and, I felt like a little bit of like that 15 seconds of fame and be treated like I was special from an entertainment standpoint. So that was neat. Then I did a couple of smaller ones. A few years after that, I did one for Home Depot. It was World Cup related as well. And I didn't understand it until after that my role was like as a have been. I was wearing a uniform that was a little bit tighter than I normally would have. And then when I saw the commercial, I was like, so that's the role. That's kind of funny. I probably wouldn't have taken the role if I understood what it was to begin with. But yeah, some fun experiences. I kind of had the opportunity to do those things because of some family members that are involved in the show business in LA. So those opportunities came about.
Well, Manny Martins is joining us, Associate Head Coach, Oregon Soccer. We haven't even yet really talked about the team because I knew that Manny would have some good stories for us, and so I have to ask. Obviously, now, can you still do the juggle trick?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
It's fairly simple. Yeah.
Just making sure, that because again, the theme here is that soccer seems to be the constant track, and so that's perfect. Manny Martins joining us. Hey, how has life changed, for you since March with all that's gone on, both in your life and just with the team? I mean, this has been a whirlwind, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it absolutely has, and and I say. I say this without losing sight of how serious everything is, but in certain ways, there's been a lot of positives. And for those who know me, I'm a real optimistic person, and I always look to find the silver lining in things. And in this particular instance, I haven't traveled, so a lot more time with the family. A lot more involvement with with things with my kids and my wife that sometimes I'm not able to be around for. We did some cool home projects, built a deck, which I didn't think I was able to do.
Nice.
So from that standpoint, it's been really positive. From a professional standpoint, as you can imagine, it's been quite a curveball and a challenge. Obviously, I'm part of a new staff, even though I've been here. So it's not ideal to go through this transition and then all of a sudden you don't have a spring season, you don't have full team trainings. But again, looking at the silver lining, I feel like it has made us better coaches because we've had to think outside the box to be able to train and be productive. And I really feel like we've been able to accomplish that. The team has gotten better, the players have gotten better, and we've gotten better as a staff.
You mentioned Coach Abel coming on board and you staying on the staff. I mean, I think, one, that's really cool. You just don't see a lot of that around coaching at any level. Usually it's it's one or the other, right? And I'm really glad that you're still here because this is great. I mean, you never want to lose your neighbors in your office building, and so I'm right there with that. Can you talk fans though through just what that meant to you, and then also just the relationship with Coach Abel that allowed you to stay here? And I know that the players, Coach, I got to tell you, every player that I talked to over the last week has been like, oh, we love Manny. We are so glad that he's still here, and that's got to bring warm feelings to your heart.
No, absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, when you're in this line of business, I always say I coach through relationships. So it's important that that you're respected and appreciated. You know, at the end of the day, they're not always going to like your decisions, and that's part of the job. But if in the end, when it's all said and done, if there's an appreciation and respect, then things were done the right way. You know, for me, it meant a lot to be able to stick around. I mean, this is an incredible place to work, as you know. You've been here forever, and so from a career standpoint, what a great opportunity to be able to stay on board. You know, continue to be part of building this program into where it needs to be. From a personal standpoint, it was great for my family. We love Eugene. The kids are in school. The wife loves everything about it. I mean, we feel like we've definitely adapted, and this is where we belong. So it was great to have the opportunity to stay on a personal level, you know. And then obviously, Graham and I, we've known each other for years. But obviously, I don't take that as in crossing any lines. You know, our friendship, you know, even though it's a present thing, it's not the reason I stayed. Obviously, you know, he's got a vision that I bought into and I believe in. I like the way it works. I thought that I could still contribute to the program, and I felt like I could learn and grow under his leadership. So when the opportunity to stay presented itself, it was an easy yes. So yeah, I'm really happy that I'm still here and excited for what's to come.
That's awesome. I think it's great. From every 360 degrees, it's just great. Manny Martins joining us. Coach, can you stick around? I got to get a quick timeout, and then I want to come back and actually talk about the team and what you guys have been up to the last few weeks. All right. Manny Martins joining us, Associate Head Coach, Oregon Soccer. We're going to get a quick timeout. Come back, more Inside the Country Financial Studio next. Stuck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
All it takes is one drop to make a wave. One beat to inspire a track. One spark to get creativity flowing. With every drop, Life Water refreshes your mind and restores your body. Purified water, pH balanced with electrolytes for taste. Designed with original works of art on every bottle. Let us be your source of inspiration. Life Water, the feel-good water.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day. I want to be a bike that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a forest trail. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Back on Doug Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union inside the Country Financial Studio. Joey Mack, joined by Manny Martins, associate head coach from Oregon Soccer. They're still working out a little bit, and we were just talking about some of the fun memories of getting to know Coach Abel, what that was like. I mean, Manny, it's got to just be fun for you and for everybody, really, just to be able to have some of these stories to tell now. And I know that your student athletes probably like to hear some of these stories too, don't they?
Oh yeah. It's always good to be able to look back and enjoy some of this, the fun pieces, because, the work, like to say work hard. I don't know about play hard, but have some fun along with it. You got to have some fun moments and some joy with it.
What's the team been able to do lately? I mean, and how have you guys kind of attacked this new look training schedule and with the postponement? What have you guys been up to the last few weeks?
It's a lot of hard work, kind of living on the edge when it comes to training. You're always pushing the envelope a little bit, trying to keep everything a certain level of intensity. Trying to make it as game realistic as possible when you have to maintain social or physical distance, no opposition. So we have to be creative in terms of how we're going to do things without missing a thing, right? So a lot of functional training, a lot of technical work, some tactical work as well. We've been able to do some walkthroughs, a lot of video. So it's been good, and the players have responded well to it. I could only dream of things going as well as they're going.
I'm kind of curious, Coach, just to give fans kind of the peek into how you're going about this. We've seen some of the pictures with your players wearing masks and just going through practice the different ways, working out the different ways. Just give fans, I guess, a sense of what that's like and what the guidelines are for you guys right now as you continue to develop.
Yeah, the players have to keep, everyone has to keep a face cover through all of our interactions. We train with a group of 12 or 11 players, depending on the day. They must maintain at least 10 feet of distance from everyone. And I'll be honest, initially, going into it, you don't know what it's going to be like, and you're a little bit skeptical of how it's going to work out, just like any
Sure.
training session, just like any plan. You have a plan and okay, there'll be some challenges with it, but it's actually been amazing how well it's going, and credit to the players. They've taken it in full stride. They are very adaptable, and they just respond well to what we're doing. So they're not caught up on what we can't do. They're just embracing what we can, and that's going real well.
Yeah, that's the only mindset that you can have really at this point, I feel like. And like we talked about at the beginning with the smoke in the area, and we're all very adaptable at this point.
Yeah.
I think we've found ways to do things for sure. Manny Martins joining us, associate head coach, Oregon Soccer. What's the schedule ahead for you guys? And I know that there's a lot of people wondering, so what's it going to look like if you guys can play the fall season? We all hope that you can play a spring season. And what's it going to look like? There's so many unknowns. And how do you guys approach that? And sort of what is the schedule ahead? Do you really take this kind of 1 week at a time and just see what happens?
Well, we're actually one of the things we've made a point to do is utilize all our resources. And as the setup here at the University of Oregon Athletics is pretty incredible as far as our resources, from sports science to our medical department, nutrition, strength and conditioning. So we've put all those resources together and came up with the really good 5-week block. So we have a 5-week block of training, that is very, very specific and very detailed to what we're trying to do. Or what we're trying to accomplish with our group, and then they'll have a 2-week off, and then we're going to come back for another 5-week period. So 5 weeks, 2 weeks off, back on the saddle, chipping away at it, and then all of this should get us in a really good place to hopefully, as planned, play a season in the spring.
Yeah, and we can all do our parts for that. Mask up, everybody, remember, stay safe, and we can get back to some semblance of normalcy. We're all hoping for that here moving forward. And, and on that note, Coach, I know the Pac-12's announcement last week, daily testing, that was a concern of coaches and administrators everywhere, student athletes. That's got to help, right? I thought that was some good news to kind of end last week.
Yes, and it's great to see that we're willing to do what it takes to make sure that we can do the job and everyone feel confident and at peace that we're doing things in a safe way.
I got to imagine that with you staying on staff, that probably helped with recruiting. I know you oversee recruiting, coach, and this freshman class, I imagine that helped. Is that me oversimplifying, or did it help that you kind of had that continuity for this freshman class coming in?
Well, I'd like to think that it did help and that it will continue to help. But I also, can't take for granted that if me staying on board helped. Obviously, someone with a background of, Graham and what Rachel brings to the table, helps us get over the hump with some of the players, players that, obviously getting a Callan at the 11th hour, definitely those are things that the addition of the new staff, just getting us over the hump with that. And we're excited about the 21-22 class and what the future looks like. So it's a collaborative effort.
I talked about this on the show in the past, but I was hoping to just talk with you a little bit as we wrap things up about your Team USA work. I know you've interacted with Coach Abel that way, and I'll say it, you're a big reason why the Team USA won the 2019 FIFA World Cup. I mean, you were a scout for the opposition. Could you just talk fans through what that process was like, how you got involved in Team USA, and just how cool of an experience that must have been?
Well, I'm going to start by correct. I wouldn't say I was a big part. I contributed.
I'll say it.
I'll say it. Really small part of it.
I'll keep saying it.
But thank you. No, it's it's an incredible opportunity to be a part of representing the country. Obviously, working with the best team in the world, back-to-back world champions. To be a part of that, and it's just something that it's sort of like the pinnacle of what you want to do in your career, working with the best. Mm-hmm. With that said, it comes with a lot of responsibility and hard work, which, you have to embrace if you're going to do something like that. It's a lot of hours, a lot of advanced preparation. So we actually start preparing and following teams in January. But there was already some of the data was being tracked from previous fall. So we're well in advance of the tournament, breaking down, watching games, looking at strengths, looking at personnel qualities, looking at vulnerabilities, and then also looking at what matches up potentially with our team. Mm-hmm. And it was a team of 5 of us that did this, that were scouting, and our job was to put together presentations that were upwards of 45, 50 slides, and then we present it to the staff. The interesting thing is by the time it gets filtered to the players, it's maybe 2 or 3 slides.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's really a tedious process of cast a big net and then narrow it down.
Huh. Well, way to cast that net then.
Yeah, no, it's an incredible process, but it's fun. It's fun. And you know what? I think I've grown a lot as a professional because I'm constantly studying teams and kind of picking up things from how they do things as well.
Kind of sounds like recruiting. Cast a big net and then narrow it down.
Very similar. Very similar. Yeah.
It's a lot of film study. It's a lot of patience, a lot of hard work, and that's why I'm not a coach and I just sit here and talk to people that are a lot smarter than me. Manny Martins, associate head coach, Oregon Soccer. Hey, I could talk to you for an hour here, Manny, but I know you're a busy man. You got important things to do. You got to figure out what to do with another curveball thanks to the fires in the area. So I really appreciate you taking the time, Coach. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again, and good luck the rest of the way in this new training landscape. But looking forward to seeing you guys back out on the pitch sooner than later.
Thank you, Joey. Thanks for having me, and thanks for what you do.
Thank you. This was great. We could have Coach Martins back on anytime he wants. Manny, it's a pleasure. Thank you for doing this, and we're going to get a quick timeout. When we come back, the latest acrobatics and tumbling question and answer session. It was a good one. It's Stuck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Back inside the Country Financial Studio after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This football season, prepare your taste buds for the most iconic sports watching drink of all time, Pepsi. With refreshing deliciousness specially formulated to keep your eye on the ball and mouth-watering fizziness to help you power through game day, Pepsi has everything you need to start strong.
I used to care when Mike cheered so hard he spilled nacho cheese on my carpet, but thanks to Pepsi, even Mike can't ruin my football party.
So this football season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink made for football watching. Pepsi, that's what I like.
This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio, and today's show brought to you by Jackson's Food Stores, proud sponsor of the University of Oregon Ducks. You can head to Jackson's for all your necessities. Go Ducks, and head over to Jackson's. That was great catching up with Manny Martins. Really great time catching up with him. Interesting story for sure of how he came to the United States, and soccer really has been his sort of path through all of this, through all of his different career aspects, and it was cool catching up with him and talking about what that team is up to. Coming up, this was cool. We didn't get to it last week, but a senior in Yelena Faustino talked with Taylor Galvin. Oregon Acrobatics and Tumbling has been running an Instagram mini-series that you can find on their Instagram at Oregon Acro Tum. They've been doing a Q&A with student athletes. The coaches are interviewing the athletes. It's been great getting to know some of these student athletes, both on the mat and off the mat. We didn't get to last week on the show, so we figured, well, we'll do it today. Yelena Faustino talking with Taylor Galvin, Oregon Acrobatics and Tumbling assistant coach.
Hey Duck fans, Coach T here, assistant for the Acrobatics and Tumbling program at the University of Oregon. We are super excited to be kicking off our second week of our new mini-series, Q&A with the Ducks. Today I'm super excited to introduce a rising senior, Yelena Faustino. Okay, well, we are super excited to have you on our show today, so we'll go ahead and jump right in. And why don't you just tell us a little bit about your background, your hometown, maybe a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I was born in Versailles, France, but I've lived in San Diego, California my whole life. A little bit about me. I'm a Capricorn. My favorite color is purple. I love cats. I love horses. I'm a big horse girl.
Love that.
And yeah.
Okay, so how many cats do you have? I've seen
2.
photos of the one.
Yeah.
Okay, you have 2. What are their names?
I have Baguette and Blitz.
Oh my gosh, Baguette. We love that. For those of you that don't know, Yelena is a huge Baguette girl. You'll catch her with just like a huge thing of bread and she's just eating it freely. It's really awesome to see. So give us a little bit about your athletic background before you started your journey here at Oregon.
So I started gymnastics when I was like really young. My mom put me in it. I wasn't that good at it, but I did it for like 10 years. And then I got into competitive cheerleading, and I think that's where like everything kind of switched for me because I liked it wasn't as like serious as gymnastics, and I loved just like stunting and dancing, and I just loved the excitement of it. And then I did that from like 8th grade to my senior year of high school. And then now I'm here.
That's awesome. So can you give the viewers a little bit about where you cheered and how long you were there for?
Yeah, the first gym I was at was called San Diego Show, and I was there for 2 seasons. And then the rest of my cheer career, I was at Cheer Force San Diego.
Awesome. That's definitely my alma mater too. Go Cheer Force. There a long time ago, but definitely a standout gym. So now that you're here about, excuse me, how did you hear about acrobatics and tumbling?
I don't really know. I think Kiara Nolan, because she was like big in the cheer world. And then I remember like after she finished her cheer career, everyone was like, oh, like where'd she go? Blah, blah, blah. And then that's when I kind of saw she was like at Baylor. And that's I think that's the first time when I saw or heard about acro. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I didn't really look into it until like junior year of high school.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm always curious how everyone hears about the sport because, you know, everyone's coming from different backgrounds and whatnot. But definitely glad to have you here as an Oregon Duck. So obviously you're a senior, which is amazing. I've loved seeing you grow from freshman year to senior year. Super proud of you. But tell us a little bit about your favorite event and why.
My favorite event is definitely the toss event, just because it's really fast.
Okay, that's fair. Just get it done and quick out of the way. That's awesome. Do you have a favorite toss? Do you like sink, open?
I guess the open toss, just because it's like only our group out there, so you don't have to like worry about syncing up with another group. And like I said, it's literally like 3-8 counts and then we're done.
Yes, perfect. I don't blame you. It's a little nerve-wracking out there for sure. So tell us a little bit about your favorite memory since being an Oregon Duck, whether that's ACRA-related or school-related.
Definitely, it's more school-related. The snow week we had my sophomore year, because it was just so funny seeing the town of Eugene kind of like not know what to do with so much snow on the ground. Yeah. And I do remember I was going to go eat with Katie Bachman, and we were trying to like pull into this parking lot, and her car got stuck in the snow and we had to push it, and there's snow everywhere and it was all gross and grimy. But that was just so funny to me.
Oh my gosh, I will never forget that, because obviously us California girls, we don't see snow very often. I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to drive in this? So yeah, that was definitely one for the books.
Yeah.
So kind of talking about our team, obviously we have a huge roster. How would you describe our team atmosphere?
Definitely unique. I would say when you're on a team with 40 to 45 girls, it's interesting, but in a good way. There's just so many different personalities. And yeah, it's just a big old girl gang. and it's fun. It's always fun. And I mean, it can be a little dramatic at times, so like that's how we are. And I just think it makes the best of it.
Definitely. We have so many different personalities on our team, but somehow it all works and you guys just gel, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
So you kind of already answered this question a little bit, but what do you think your favorite part is about being on such a huge roster?
Like I said, I love the different personalities, but also it's just like, it's just fun. One of my favorite things to do during practice is just to kind of like look around and see what people are doing. And like sometimes like if we're like on a water break or something, like some people are like eating snacks, other people are dancing. It's just like so funny at all times, and there's always action going on, and there's like never a dull moment, so I love that.
Definitely. I love seeing all the dance moves on the side. It gets me going. So what is your favorite team bonding activity that we've done?
Oh, I loved when we went to, I don't remember what it's called. Last year when we went to the little, I don't think Oregon has a desert, but it felt like a desert. And we were in the hot tub. Yes. Yes. And we were like in the hot tubs, just doing face masks with like our rooms and like doing our nails. But I always love doing that stuff because especially like every time I'm in the house with like my little family thing, we always end up watching something on TV. Like there's always something to binge watch on TV. And it's just fun to like sit there and just like relax with our teammates. We're helping freshmen register classes. It was just all around a fun time.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Yeah, that was definitely a good trip. I felt like it was just kind of self-care, relax, you know, leave acro aside and just get to know each other. So that's great. So kind of switching gears here into the academic side of things. What is your major, and then what are your career aspirations or maybe your dream job?
So I'm a public relations major with a French minor. A dream job. I kind of have multiple dream jobs. Like I would love to help plan the Met Gala. I would love to help plan the Chanel summer spring fashion show. Just anything in like the fashion and beauty industry. Like if you know me, you know I love skincare and like I always have a face mask on.
Yeah.
And it's just I think it's a really beautiful industry and I love like the classical art side of it. So something like within that realm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tuning in, Yelena loves skincare. She can hook you up with all the do's and don'ts, you know, what's toxic, what's not, all this stuff. But that's awesome. I think you'd be great at any of that. So tell us a little bit about what's your favorite part of campus?
Oh, I love the trees, definitely, because they always smell good. Like I remember I was walking through campus like during the winter and it's like so rainy and you're just like sad. And then I like stopped. I was like, oh my gosh, it smells like a candle out here. And it smelled just like fresh pine trees. And that's something I've just never noticed before. And it just smelled so good. And I think about it all the time. And I do love the way the trees change colors during the seasons because we don't have that in San Diego.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is a huge, awesome thing about the campus is because trees are literally just towering over you everywhere you go and definitely different from SoCal. So I agree with you. That's probably one of my favorite parts too. So kind of when you need a study break, I know you love your baguettes, but where do you like to eat on campus?
My room.
I'm not sure if you're a huge adventurer, but what do you like to do on your off time, whether it's adventuring outdoors or in your bedroom?
It's crazy because I've never done anything outdoorsy in Oregon, which I need to, especially with this whole coronavirus thing. I'm like, I really messed up on not doing that. So it's definitely on my bucket list.
Okay.
Like I haven't even hiked Spencer's Butte, Skinner's Butte. Never done that yet.
I thought that was funny that so big baguette person, Yelena Faustino. And where does she like to eat? Her room. So she cooks. That's what I learned from that. You know, it's funny. I was talking to Coach Keenan Wan, the head coach of Oregon Acrobatics, tumbling about that. I was like, man, that was real. Like, that was me when I was in college. I was the one that was like, yeah, I'll eat in my room, do homework. That was what I did. Like I told her I identify with that. That's Yelena Faustino, a senior this upcoming acrobatics tumbling season. Up next, we're going to tell you a little bit about the NFL Pro Ducks. Also, a little preview of what's to come the rest of the week on the show. We do have a busy week, especially with only 4 shows this week. It's a busy one. We're going to wrap up Duck Insider with some Pro Ducks news and also a tribute to a legend in the broadcast industry. That's next. Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union returns next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you inside the Country Financial Studio. And my thanks to Manny Martins, for joining us. It's been really fun to catch up with a lot of different assistant coaches over the last few weeks. We're going to continue to do that. And every coach interview this year is brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. So, products, the NFL is getting ready to kick off. Some products moves over the weekend. The 49ers kept Hronis Grasu, Deion Jordan, and Joe Walker on their practice squad. Henry Mondeau also on the Steelers practice squad, and Jake Hansen still on board with the Packers, and a slew of other products, which you can always find updated on GoDucks.com. Satu Sabali should 100% be the Rookie of the Year. And, Sabrina Ionescu getting hurt, that sucked. But if another product can win the Rookie of the Year, maybe it's Ruthie Hebert too, I'm in. I think that Satu Sabali's numbers, though, tell you that she probably is the Rookie of the Year. Her and the Wings, by the way, are battling for the 8th seed with a week left in the WNBA season. Ruthie Hebert and the Chicago Sky have a playoff spot locked up already, so you'll continue to see Ruthie Hebert in action, and they'll play each other on Friday, part of your Toyota Women's Sports Schedule Spotlight. DJ Sanders hit 2 bombs in 2 days. Pretty impressive in the Athletes Unlimited League. Kat Osterman was very smart. She drafted all 4 of the Pro Ducks, and as a result, Team Osterman, well, they went 3-0. And I'm not saying that it was all the Ducks, but the Ducks were a big part of it because they had 3 Ducks in the top 10 of the individual scoring rankings in the Athletes Unlimited softball weekend. Jane Takeda was 3rd. DJ Sanders was 4th. Gwen Savekis was 8th. Pro Ducks, baby, getting it done. You can always find the Pro Ducks calendar updated every week on GoDucks.com. And also our thoughts and prayers go out to Bob Robertson and his family. Passed away. The legendary voice of the Washington State Cougars. It just won't be the same without Bob Robertson up there in Pullman. 2020, man. Everybody stay safe out there with the fires, in all seriousness. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the show. See ya.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart savings strategies, you'll have the info you need